Well, hello and good morning. Welcome to everyone in Boston, in the South Shore, and Randolph, my hometown. I also want to say thank you to those of you who are listening to me live, and thank you to those of you who are listening to this rebroadcast as well. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me as we are continue to discuss my book, Selling Secrets You Can't Afford to Miss. And today we're going to be doing chapter 13, which is the do's and don'ts of negotiating. We talked in depth about negotiating and the things that you should or should not do and to keep calm and everything like that. Always remember when you're negotiating, though, that this is not a personal transaction. It may feel personal to you because it's personal. It's your personal home, but you have to remember this is a business transaction. It's a business transaction, and therefore you got to keep your emotions, your opinions, and your ego out of it. There's a lot of things that go into, dealing with a buyer. And sometimes buyer can come off a little rude or a little critical of your home or something like that when they're entering. So you just want to make sure that you don't let that affect you, affect your ego. They may have an opinion about your home. The house down the street is so much nicer, da 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 da, whatever they have to say. But just remember, do not let that sway you. That's just them feeling you out, trying to get a sense of what you're willing or not willing to do, and if they can rattle or shake you. So you want to stay firm. Make sure you understand again. Do not let those things derail you. Always be patient. Always be patient when you're negotiating. If you're a for sale by owner, if you're a for sale by owner and you're in front of the buyer, they may be waiting for you and asking you questions. Be patient. Let them ask questions. Remember what I said to you, ask questions and redirect. But if they ask you questions such as, well, what is the lowest you will accept for the house? I know you have it listed at such and such, but are you willing to negotiate? Say, I'm willing to accept a good offer. My negotiation is I'm willing to accept a good offer. Don't start saying, well, I'd be willing to go a little bit lower than what I have it for, or anything. Or just you put that out there. What you do is you eliminate the opportunity for you to counter offer if you say, what are you willing to accept? So again, be patient, let them speak. If they make an offer, just be quiet about it. Just be quiet for a couple of seconds, because sometimes what happens, think about it when you're in a conversation with someone and they say something and you're like, oh my gosh, was that the right thing or was that the wrong thing? Sometimes as you think about it, um, you know, and just be quiet for a couple of seconds, they may, wow, that might not have been a good offer. And they may come back to you with more, or they may change their offer because if they really like the house, they may come back with different. So be calm, stay focused, and just be patient and don't answer too quickly. If you answer too quickly, that's going to seem like you're desperate, like, oh my gosh, that's a great price, and they jump in. The reason I say that is because, okay, they offered this and you got this great offer up front, right? But they see that you're eager and you're kind of like, in desperation mode. Remember, there are two other times that negotiation does come into play in this whole process. And so they may get the offer accepted and they might be having buyer's remorse and saying, man, she was so excited about that. Maybe I could have gotten a better deal. Well, after the inspection, they're going to try to get that better deal. They sure are. So if you seem level, they may be like, well, if I come back with too much, they may or may not give it to me. But if you seem eager and too excited, they're going to try. Trust and believe they're going to try doing an inspection. But you got to stay firm. You got to stay firm during the process, right? There's also the appraisal. So if the appraisal come back a little bit lower, they may try to negotiate with you. We can talk more about how the appraisal process works, but that's another opportunity for them to negotiate. So again, if you seem too eager, so remember not to. If somebody comes in and they give you a lowball offer, don't even negotiate with them. Don't even consider it. Don't even waste your time. Say, oh, you know what? I thank you for the offer, but I don't think that's going to work for me, and you move on. What you've done is you eliminated them taking up your time going back and forth. If you want to list the house for say 575 and they come in with 500, that's 75,000 below. Don't even try to negotiate and try to counter with them. They're too low to begin with. So if the offer doesn't make sense and it's a lowball offer, don't try to even waste your time negotiating with them. If they come in with an offer that's low and they want to counter with you can always counter. If it's close enough, you can always counter. But there is a saying, do not meet in the middle. First time I heard that, I didn't understand it. And now I do, because I'm applying it to real estate. Don't meet in the middle. What that means is, let's say you have the house listed for 600,000, but you know what? I'll accept 575. 575 is my bottom line, and I'll accept that. However, they come in and they say 550. Meeting in the middle would be your 575, and you're like, well, 575 is what I'd like. So why not just meet in the middle and say 575? Because guess what? You can counter back and forth and back and forth. So you may come in at 575, and they may try to counter again for a little bit lower than 575. Now you're below your mark. When you counter, your increments should be low. So if they come in at 550 and you're at 600, maybe you come in at 590. They're like, wow, she's not really coming down that much. So they might come in at 575, just to kind of get a little closer, because they're still not trying to pay the 590. But guess what? You just got your 575. Or even if they come in at 570, you might say 580. And then you guys meet in the middle. But you don't meet in the middle right away. But at some point, it helps you to get what you're looking for. But if you all of a sudden meet them where you're looking for right away, they're going to try to come back down again. So remember, don't meet in the middle. There's a lot of other things that you can do. Once the offer is accepted and you're working with this buyer and you're going through inspections, and then they're going to come back and they're going to bring you items from the inspections that they're like, well, what about this? What about that? When you're negotiating, you also have different things that you can use as leverage, right? And some of those things that you can use as leverage is some of the concessions. So remember that, when you're going through, you want to, some of the concessions that you can offer that buyers may be like, oh my gosh, I love the house, I want to keep moving. However, if I have to buy these things myself, they're going to be costly. If you have really nice window treatments, the draperies and all of that stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's affixed to the house and there's holes and everything that's connected, you don't want to move those, because if you move them, they're going to leave holes, and you can't do that. But if it's draperies that you can take down and just leave the rod, they might say, yeah, you can leave the rod because the rod's affixed to the house. But those draperies, they fit perfectly. I want those. Those are things that you can negotiate. The washer dryer, those are things that you can negotiate. Some people will say the appliances, but I say no. And the reason I say no is because the appliance adds, when I say the appliances, I mean the kitchen appliances. Those add to the house, and they give value to your house. So you don't want to say, well, I leave my refrigerator. No, leave the refrigerator, because that's part of what add value. But like your washer and dryer and stuff like that, those are things that you want to consider using as concessions. Again, I just want to wrap up this section. When you're negotiating, remember, do not let your emotions take over. Do not let your opinions, do not let a rude buyer take over, because now your ego is tripped because they upset you or they said something. Don't let that be. They have no personal connections to your home as you do. You've done work to the house, you've lived in the house. Don't let that be an issue. Remember, this is a business transaction, and they are trying to get the best deal possible. So do not let that derail you. If you're thinking about buying your home and you'd like to work with a real estate agent, I would be glad to come and help you. I'd be glad to come and give you some pointers. Please give me a call. I say sooner than later, because sometimes it takes a lot longer than you think to kind of get this whole process going. My name is Janelle Stevens. I work with Coldwell Banker. Please give me a call. Comment below. Let me know what you think of this session. Order a copy of the book, whether you decide to work with me or not. This is a free gift to you. All right? Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.